Hello and welcome to a special presentation from In the Money Media, our long-anticipated Belmont Stakes Day final answer show. Belmont at Saratoga in year 3. We're going to be ringing it out. Thomas Fornatale back with you in the Brooklyn bunker once again. Very happy to be joined by two extremely popular guests. One of them, he's the co-owner of In the Money Media. He's been here since day one. He's back in Saratoga, a place where he spent a lot of time in his life. He's Jonathan Kinchen. I won't ask him just as he takes a sip. I'll filibuster for a second. Say, how's it going, buddy?
All right, I can do two things at once. It's funny. It's funny you say that. Today I was at Saratoga. We had a meeting, a talent meeting, which I've never really understood that word because I'm not very talented. But we had a talent meeting, and as I was walking in, someone said to me, "Hey, do you know Thomas Fornatale?"
Really?
And I said, what rock have you been under?
Who was this person? A random?
It's actually a guy that should not have asked. He should have known. And if he sees us now, I love you, but I'm surprised you didn't know that.
That's very funny. Also joining us, another extremely popular guest, absolutely rocked it. Maybe the most entertaining and successful in terms of picks show we ever did. It was the last time this triumvirate got together. We tried to get Vanessa to bring the band fully back together, but she had to work at, I don't know, Yarmouth or something today. The timing didn't quite work out. Hello to Vanessa out there in the ether. We'll bring her back for some Ask It coverage soon. But this man generally joins us for international coverage, but he has a vast knowledge of the USA form as well. He works for Facing Tipton. You see his stuff. In so many places. It would take the rest of the hour if I were to rattle them off. Michael Adolphson, so happy to have you back.
Always good to be here. I will try to be. I'll try to not to mislead people, which seems to be my MO most of the time. But
we'll bring your energy up. We'll bring your energy as you get talking about these races. You won't be able to help getting excited. Before we dive in, I want to mention two quick programming notes. One is that there's never been a better time to sign up for In the Money Plus. If you sign up before the Belmont Stakes, you'll get a free month of In the Money Plus. What does that do? Well, gives you free digest from all the picks, extra shows, and content. For example, for this weekend, Nick Tamaro going to be covering every day of the Belmont Stakes Racing Festival at Saratoga for us. On the plus side, I'm going to do some horse-by-horse analysis. Next month, we're going to have all kinds of Saratoga preview content, Nick's diaries. It's so much stuff, and it supports everything we do for free here at In the Money. Make sure you check it out, inthemoneypodcast.com/plus. Another one of our favorite things is back this week. The ITM Horse Players Tour returns. $20 feeders to the Breeders' Cup betting challenge. There's so much that goes on with this. There's a charitable donation element to it, but maybe most interesting of all, by playing in these regular feeders, if you finish in the top 4 any week, you qualify for our playoffs. In those playoffs that happen after the regular season is over, a $10,000 BCBC seat, another one, will be given away at no cost to players. So it's about the best EV opportunity out there in terms of contest qualifying, and you're supporting the BC charities at the same time. I highly recommend you check it out. Go to horseplayers.com. First game will be Friday, and we'll no doubt have some races from Saratoga. But we're not here to talk about Saratoga Friday. We're here to talk about Saratoga Saturday, specifically this Pick 6, which kicks off with race number 8, 3:25 Eastern, the scheduled post time for the True North, going 6.5. I will quickly on these races chime in my thoughts because they're very straightforward, and we'll see if members of the panel can bring in something a little bit more creative. I'm a huge Book'em fan, the 6 runner in this spot. Just love this horse's tactical speed, and I know he loves it around Saratoga. Great trip expected from just off the pace. Michael, what do you think of Book'em in this spot? Are you with him, or do you want to put somebody else up as a potential winner?
I'll take a slap against him on here. I know he went last year. He's an impressive horse. It sets up for him pretty well, but I can't help but think that if you're looking for any bit of value and you want to throw in a third horse into your Pick 6 and lighten up in other spots, I think there's a big trip note on Imagination last time. I think he broke too sharp and got not a bad ride, but he was put into a situation where he wasn't running to his optimal. And I think if he drops back and makes one big run and the pace is blitzing out there, he might just shock us all and pip him at the end. I think I'm gonna take a big stab with Imagination in here. I just think that he is very much capable of beating these horses on his best day.
You mentioned it as a big three. I assume the third being Bentornato.
Bentornato, of course.
Yeah, of course, the Breeders' Cup winner. 6-3-2. Would that be your picks in that order? Does that sound right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. But I'm gonna go 2-6-3 in that order.
Okay, 2-6-3 is the official order, but the 6 where you're seeing the value might be coming from no, the other way around. The 2, imagination, where the value is going to be coming from. JK, how about you? Are you with the favorites in this spot?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Bookham Daniel's a fan favorite. He'll take money. I don't really knock him for his last race. I mean, obviously that wasn't the target. You don't bring a horse back like this and you're like, oh, we have to win this race. It's probably the races here in the summer. And what I think last year he won 3 races at Saratoga, if I'm not mistaken. He likes it up here, maybe more than I do.
That's saying something.
But I think Bentornato is just kind of freaky fast and he's got more of a trustworthy profile from the way that he runs his style. I think he probably needed the race in Saudi. I think he'll be tighter from that race. Bentornato single A for me, Bookham Dano single B.
Okay, just going with 2 runners, the 3 on top of the 6 in the True North.
Oh, and by the way, Pete,
hit me.
StreamYard getting rid of that little duck is really that's don't you dare click off a tab because the duck's not up there. Some blue S now. Ooh.
Oh, that's going to take some getting used to if you're clicking around looking at PPs while you're on air. For folks who want to know how the sausage is made, which I know so many of you do, we have 5 Grade 1 races to talk about, boys, and the first one up is the Jaipur. We're going 5.5 on the turf at Saratoga for this test. Once again, very straightforward is my selection, so I'll just throw it out there that I think that AG Bullet going to take a lot of beating, so many signs pointing in the direction of this 6-year-old mare. Think she'll get the perfect trip, potentially leading throughout, can also sit just off and finish if somebody else wants to go on a mission. Nothing too creative for me. JK, where are you in the Jaipur?
Almost didn't find that duck. I'm going to, a lot of times in the Jaipur, I've done different versions of this race. It's either a race where I use a lot of horses or a race where I get very, very skinny. This is a use a lot of horses race. I'm going to use, and my PPs don't have numbers, so just bear with me here. You just say the number. Okay, so we'll go in order here. Litigation.
3.
Reef Runner.
5.
AG Bullet.
6.
John the Beer Man.
8.
My Boy Prince.
10. 3, 5, 6, 8,
yeah.
10.
So the 8 though, John the Beer Man is the one that I wanted to kind of highlight. One that hasn't really found himself in the graded stakes arena yet, but he's been running graded stakes types numbers for the last 2 races for Rob Atras since moving from Chad Brown, and I think he's one that I want to make sure I have very prominently in the mix. And I'm guessing his morning line. Sometimes I like handicapping with the more 10-1. That's beautiful. So I think he would kind of be my. Now I don't want to say top pick because I'll if I change my mind, I don't want to be an idiot on TV, but he is one that I will definitely have in the mix.
An A for sure. It sounds like.
Do you want to grade? Sure.
Do you want to grade those picks beyond that, or do you want to just leave them all in a bit of a jumble for now?
No, not at all. They're all A's. They're all A's. They're all A's. This is the way the sequence is going to unfold. I don't need to get too cute in a race like this where I don't have an opinion. My opinion, solid opinions, will come in other spots when I'm going 1 or 2 horses, which I feel like I do 3 times.
All right, well, we'll get there. Michael, let's bring you in. Any more, are you in my camp where you think this is one you can plant a little bit of a flag anyway, or are you like JK spread around?
I am. I'm going too deep in this race. I only think 2 horses can really win it with their optimal races, and I think they'll both run their races, and those are Reef Runner and AG Bullet. I just think that they are the 2 horses. I think Reef Runner is going to run a big one. And I love that Irad's back on the horse. He fits him like a glove. I very much expect him to win this race in the last few strides.
Race number 10 is the Grade 1 Woody Stevens. Interesting rematch from the Derby undercard. Pat Day Mile shortening up a bit from that race, but Crude Velocity and Englishman facing off with some other interesting competition as well. Since JK, you already teased that you're getting skinny the rest of the way here, which is interesting to me. That to me maybe suggests, well, I don't know. Does that suggest you're going to prefer one of these to the other, or do you think you can lock it up with both?
No, I mean, it's a single A Crude Velocity for me. I'll use Englishman and Obliteration as B's. I think Crude Velocity has got a chance to be, one of the better horses we'll see this year. I know that the figure didn't jump out to represent that was one of the best races we've seen all year. But I think you got to think about it in a couple of ways. One, they're 3-year-olds, right? So there's an opportunity for them to continue to get faster. The other thing about that is that like they really took a lot of starch out of each other, Englishmen and Crude Velocity. I mean, they were ding-donging all the way around there together at every point of the race. It feels like they were at least within half a length of one another, and they're both really good. And I think that Crude Velocity showed how good he is by being able to finish the way he did despite that. And I think that like now cutting back a little bit to the 7, I just think this guy, he's just a monster. I think Flo probably has a whole lot more confidence in him. I think Baffert probably leaned on him a little bit more. I mean, he was training, if I'm not mistaken, he trained on the 16th, right? So that's 2 weeks after that race. Crude Velocity trained. Englishman didn't get back to the track till the 23rd. I just think Crude Velocity is freaky good.
They're both pretty excellent. They both should be seen to better effect going a little bit shorter. And you talked about the numbers. Well, consider this on the Timeform US pace algorithm anyway, 7-point upgrade for how close Crude Velocity was to that early pace. And then, of course, they upgrade Englishman even a little bit more than that, an 11-point upgrade. Michael, is it between those two? Who do you prefer between them, or you want to bring somebody else to the party?
I think you look at this race in one of two ways. You say Crude Velocity is a single, and you feel like he's just going to win on just being the fastest and best horse in the race. But if you're looking for any kind of value, which I am, a value that can win, a value that's fast enough to win this race, if anything goes awry with Crude Velocity, to me, it's Civil Liberty. Point blank. He's a big long shot, 10-1 on the morning line. Should be more than that by post time. Gets a great rider. Doug comes in here with purpose. He was a neck behind Crude Velocity 2 races ago in a maiden race. He came back and moved forward again at Keeneland, ran an 8 on the rags. If he moves forward and goes into the 6 range, he can very much put his head in front in this race. And I love that the pace is going to set up for him. I think he's going to slot in right behind, and he is the long shot value probably of the entire day for me.
I mean, you make a very compelling case on that form line 2 back. Very, very interesting. Gonna be a number. What about who you'd want to use with Civil Liberty? Would you use the other two equally? Would you try to separate them at all?
I'm gonna go 3 deep in here. I'm gonna and it's not who you expect. I'm actually, instead of the Englishman as my third, I'm gonna use Obliteration, because I am always very scared when first of all, this horse ran eyeballs out last time and ran a nice big number, but when Steve has the confidence to wheel him back in 3 weeks, I'm a little scared, and he's drawn in a peach in 2, so he's very much a horse that might sit in the spot that Civil Liberty wants to be in and beat him to the punch in the long run. But yeah, he's one I'm definitely going to throw in. I'll go 3 deep in there.
Let's move to the back half of the Pick Six as the Grade 1 racing continues with the Met Mile. So many things I'm looking forward to about the return of Belmont Park. Can't wait to have world-class racing in the backyard. Once again, look forward to getting out there many, many times already. One thing I'm looking forward to, not as much as just the opening of the place, but it's having the Met Mile not run out of the Wilson chute again, boys. But here we are, one more year. We'll see how it goes. It from a wagering point of view, it can't be worse than last year for me. Really interesting race. I think that they're the 2 super legit Grade 1 horses to me that I really trust are Nysos and Journalism, and I'm not going to try to separate them. I like the inside draw for Nysos. He has great form. He's working well. Certainly not going to get beat by number 7 Journalism, who seems like he surely has to improve in this spot, and I feel like could do well with this unusual configuration that not all horses like. But rather than ask you how I normally tee up a race, in this case, I'm going to ask you about a specific runner who I'm going to try to beat in here. On raw paper, if you cover up the last lines, this horse would be among the favorites, or maybe right there with those other 2. As it is, he'll be a bit better of a number, but I just don't know what to do with Knightsbridge. It's hard to bet a horse off that last race that he had, and the fact that, again, not really a proven Grade 1 horse going against 2 proven Grade 1 horses. But am I being too tough, Michael, on Knightsbridge? Should I give him another look? I could have my arm twisted into looking at him, but I'm just not feeling it.
No, you're not being too tough on him. He ran a turd last time, and he had every right to very much run his race in there. I know they went fast, but there's no reason that he should have his best wouldn't have won that race. Maybe his races in Florida were just not great. fields, and he does, the form isn't there to support it. I'm going to give him every chance to beat me, and I'm always a fan of the Godolphin horses running him up, but yeah, I'm not using him. I'm going to toss him right in the toilet, and I'll use Nisos in here, and I'll use John Nisos journalism, and I actually will go 3 deep in here. I'm going to use Saudi Crown as well, and I know you're gonna, don't roll your eyes at this one, guys. Hear me out.
I was going to make you make the case. Make the case.
Okay. I know that sometimes he is a big pile of trash in his performances. But when he runs his A race, he's very, very tough. And sometimes I feel like in races like this, it's not so much the post. I know that there's data behind the post. It's actually positioning, coming out of that chute, getting over. And I could very much see him running a similar race last year to the winner from Doug O'Neill. What's his name? Raging Torrent, where he gets over, they treat him like cheap speed, and he makes them pay in the end. And he goes out there and they just sits with Knightsbridge on his flank. Nisos is behind him, waiting to pounce, and journalism is kind of stuck out on the wing. And if they dismiss him, Irad's going to make him pay.
It's a really interesting point. And based on what I was saying up top about my not trusting of the Wilson chute, that might be enough for me to want to throw the horse in. Because if Knightsbridge isn't still a horse, which is one of the possibilities anytime a horse runs a race that bad, if Knightsbridge isn't a horse, then Saudi Crown could be like clear best of speed, potentially.
Yeah.
I hope that's not how it plays out. I think the class of the other two will get it done. But you've probably convinced me to throw him in as a deeper backup.
I want to get your guys' opinion on this. Journalism. Is he not quite seeing out the 9 and 10 furlongs? I know he's finishing well and he's got some good numbers, but this might also be where he belongs. He might be a true miler coming from behind and running a big race and really stepping up. I mean, he scares me the most in this race because I feel like he's more suited to this race than they're letting on.
That's not crazy. Nick Tamaro, I think it was on our airwaves, put forth that theory a while back that maybe he just wasn't the strongest finisher at 1.25 miles. I think looking at the sectionals in a fast race like the Breeders' Cup Classic, you can argue that one either way. But there is a world in which this is a test he is really well suited for. Not that I don't think it's that he can't go 1.25 miles, but I think the right kind of testing mile might bring out the dog that he's clearly got in him. JK, who wins the Met Mile?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's, Nisos or journalism. Nisos, I think will probably be a little bit more aggressively written from the inside. Flavien rides here a lot. He understands. I think he'll try to hold that inside position as much as he can. And with a Bob Baffert horse, he's going to never tell you to sit off of horses if you can get position forward. So I think Flavien will operate pretty quickly from there. I love journalism. This is one that I'm going to go ahead and put myself on the hook for 100%. And also in the Belmont too, because sometimes we do these so early in the week, it makes me nervous. I'm going to change my mind before the show. And
you can't do it. It's your final answer.
Yeah.
I love the idea of journalism here. I think there's been the potential for, and I understand this word is tricky because he hasn't always won. But I think there's potential for a great horse in there.
For sure.
And I think that his performance, one of the best performances I've ever seen, is the way that he came back and won when he won the Preakness. And so I can see Nick's point. Nick loves a cutback. He always has loved a cutback.
Yeah.
I think that it's his excuse a lot, and not in a bad way, in a smart way. It's excuse for why good horses get beat at certain distances is getting that opportunity to go a little bit shorter. It just kind of makes everything a little bit more compact. Everything's a little bit tighter. I call it the elite power effect, where people thought because he's a late running sprinter that he wanted 7, but he didn't. He wanted 6, and he never really lost at 6. So I think journalism is going to be tough. I love where he's drawn in this situation. It's not the biggest field in the world. I'm not worried about him getting hooked wide. I'll use those two. I will use Antiquarian and Knightsbridge as Bs. For me, Knightsbridge is when you look at his past performances and you see. And it's just math to me. It's good, not great. Then the average there still leans good, right? He had 4 really good races and then 1. So I'm gonna err on the side of it wasn't his fault. Maybe he didn't feel good that morning when he woke up. Maybe he didn't like the track. Maybe he had a foot thing. Maybe he didn't. Maybe whatever. Maybe he got sick, missed a work. I don't know. I'm going to give him another shot to run some of those back races, which are competitive with this group. So I'll use those 2 as Bs.
Would you put Nisos on top of journalism or the other way around?
No, journalism.
7-1. And then, Michael, I do want to clarify, too. You mentioned your 3 picks. I wrote them down 1-7-4. Is that correct?
Was that? Yes.
1-7-4. Okay, great. Let's move on to the penultimate race we're going to be talking about on this show. It is the Grade 1 Manhattan. We're going a mile and 3/16 on the turf. I thought this Invader was one you had to pay a whole lot of attention to. Number 6, Bright Picture, coming in here with a Group 1 French race that is probably good enough to win this. I think this is a horse that'll be should be able to handle U.S. conditions well enough, and looks like in the right part of the form cycle. Just plenty of things that make Bright Picture make a whole lot of sense. Not going to get beat by Rhetorical. This is a horse that is being tested with something new, going farther, but runs really fast races, is very tactical, should get a good trip. And it just, when I look at the form, it's a logical progression, and I like the chance that he'll be able to get home here going the mile and 3/16 after that very impressive win last time. Though this is no easy field, and I'm not saying it's only those two, but those are the two I wanted to talk about on the show. JK, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, 2-horse race for me. I'll start with mine opinion. I think Rhetorical's gotten really damn good. The way that he won the mile and 1/8 race on Derby Day was very impressive. When you have a horse like that can get to the front, relax, and I don't necessarily worry about them stretching out too much. You know, it's not like he's going to go up there and get like hooked in some crazy duel. I don't think deterministic. I think they're worried about deterministic with the distance. And so I think that they'll all just kind of be very passive. I think Rhetorical will end up getting a pretty good trip. And then, you know, look, the bottom line is when it comes to Bright Picture is I typically defer to the Europeans because I don't know. I defer to people whose opinions I respect. And I just happened to be at the corner of the Salivo bar last night with a guy who I think knows his European form, and he convinced me that Bright Picture will be very tough to beat. And
would that man happen to be on this podcast?
Yeah. He's on this one. It's because, and so, you know, like for me, and I actually kind of love the fact that they've given Flavien the mount. I think sometimes it's a little bit of a mistake when they bring theirs with them. Because look, Flavien's ridden this turf course 978 times, probably more than that. And like he knows these other horses. I just think it just makes a lot of sense to me. So I'm going to try to get away with just those two. I'll probably have a little savor with like Make Me King or Deterministic. I don't need the Shug runners. No offense to Shug. I just don't need them. I don't need Grand Motion's horse. Either one of them. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
I would love to hear your analysis, Michael, of Bright Picture. We have it as a 2-horse race. Do you have it as a 1-horse race?
In this race, you either go 6 deep or you go balls deep. And I'm going balls deep with Bright Picture. I think he is going to stuff this race like a turkey. If he runs his race, he gets a good rider. His only chink in his armor, in my opinion, is that the last time he shipped around the world, and he shipped to Bahrain, and I was there for that race, he ran an inexplicably kind of subpar race. But going back to it, he's got 2 group wins already this season. He ran a good second to Dariz last time, who kind of laughed at him, but he still ran his race. You know, that race repeated wins this fairly easily. And it looks like we're going to get a bit of a pace here. I mean, this horse is a proper Group 2 plus Group 1 horse, and that puts him easily the best in this race.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And you just look at some of those names in the form and you think about what prices they would be against this bunch. Yeah. And you're going to get more than that, certainly. All right, let's hope that horse runs with credit, given that we will all be surrounding him. Before we leave, though, you mentioned about going 6 deep if you were going to try to get
cute. I use?
Do you have a cute each way? That I know you love to throw out these bigger prices, maybe something for underneath in a try?
Each way, I mean, the horse that I think will run a big race is Test Score. He's a horse that needs cover, almost like a European horse, and he's drawn in 2, and I think he's going to sit in the pocket and I think he will hit the board very much. They said last time he had every excuse last time to not run his race, but it was a bit too bad. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was a bit too bad. So the fact that Graham has the confidence to throw him back in there, I'm gonna, I wouldn't be afraid to use them if you're going deep. So if I'm going, like I said, 6 deep or balls deep, but I'm like, the 6 would be probably, it'd be 2, 3, 5 through 8, basically.
Okay, you know what? I'll
Yeah,
mention
2,
those.
3, 5, 6, 7, 8 would be
I'll
the 6
mention
that I would
those
use if I had to
as
go, but I'm just going to go with bright picture and just call it a day. I
Just
just think that I'm overthinking it. Don't overthink when the horse is the best in the race.
There you go. I'm going to write down for the notes we send around to In the Money Plus the 6 as the confident A and the 2 to hit the board. And I'm not even going to mention about the spread. That'll be for just people who are watching.
I think I lost your audio
here. My audio is out, or Jonathan's audio is out.
I heard you, Pete.
Okay,
there we go. They were back.
All right, we're back. We're back and better than ever.
I can't hear Pete, but I can hear JK. That's weird.
That's strange and worrisome. But JK, maybe you can help me because we only have one more race to do. So, yep. Jonathan, what I'm going to do is have you do this Belmont Stakes analysis first, and then throw it to Michael, and then I'll button it up. JK, who wins the Belmont?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that this is a race that we look back at a lot of Kentucky Derbies, and I bad winners of the Derby make me sick to my stomach. When I think about like Rich Strike, it makes me feel gross. I like the connections. I like Kenny McPeak, but Mystic Dan wasn't necessarily like a Derby worthy type of horse to me. And the thing about it is that Golden Tempo and Renegade both got a huge setup. You can't argue that. If you look at the first part of the race, they come by for the first time. They're 3 of the back 4 horses. And when that happens on a Wednesday or a Thursday on synthetic, on turf, on dirt, at Aqueduct, at Santa Anita, the race fell apart. The race fell apart. And the difference is that I don't feel dirty about Golden Tempo and Renegade because I do think they're good horses. So that helps. The problem is that I can't stomach betting either one of them, considering the fact that they're going to probably be the first and second choice or first and third choice. And I just have no interest in those horses in that situation. Who I do want in a race that falls apart are the horses that were close to that pace. And I don't think you can argue that that's Chief Wallaby in Emerging Market. I'm going to pick Emerging Market because I think that there was an aggressive middle move by Flavien Prat up to the inside. In the earlier part of the race, he was a little bit closer than Chief Wallaby was. I think he had a little bit more defined probably because that was only his third career start, third career start.
Third.
I think he's going to take another step forward. I'm going to pick Emerging Market. I'll use him as an A. I'll use Chief Wallaby as an A. I will use Renegade as an A only because I do actually think that he was one of the best horses coming into the race. And I'm not going to get too caught up in the fact that he got a setup because I don't. That's a little silly to me. And then I'll use like Golden Tempo and Commandment as like B's in the spot, which I think I can afford with some of the other skinny opinions earlier in the race. Michael?
Yeah, I think that it was the number. I think it came back as a 10 on the rags. The Derby did, which is a sign that the race fell apart, like you said. I think that that makes me just go back to what was my opinion going into the Derby, and can these horses actually run those numbers that they were running beforehand? And I think they can. And I'm just going to do what I did in the Derby and put Commandment over Chief Wallaby, and I'm gonna hit that as a hard exacta box on the day. And I'll go 4 deep in the race with Chief Wallaby, Renegade, Commandment, and Emerging Market. I'm not going to use Golden Tempo. I just cannot in this world see him running that exact same race and winning again.
Our opinions.
I might be wrong. Who knows?
Our opinions are so similar here, guys. I wrote it down with Renegade on top, and I'm basically just being stubborn in the old classic first thought, best thought. When you go on videos and say he's not going to win the Derby, but he's going to come back and win the Belmont. And I do think, while he did get a setup, I think, JK, you are right to not overthink it, because I don't think he got the trip he really wanted. I think
for some reason I can't hear Pete.
It's tell Michael it's okay that we're basically tell Michael it's okay.
Yeah, he said it's all right. He said I don't know what's happening, but he's vamping. I think he's on his way out.
Exactly. I think he wanted to get more position that the post in the trip didn't allow him to get. It ended up working out great there, but he still didn't get the run of the race the way he wanted it. I think that he's going to be able to run better here. I think he's going to probably be overbet for the reasons that JK was intimating, and that's why I really need Wallaby. I thought he was a little bit too close to that pace, struggled to get a run, still stuck on well, and then Emerging Market. Undercooked coming in with just the 2 starts. He, too, was in a tricky spot, too close. He lost a shoe, and he's just supposed to do better third up. I think the exact comes from those 3. But I'm also very interested. These guys are convincing me that I shouldn't be stubborn. I should get Commandment in there somewhere. I'm going to use those 4. It's going to be exactas. let's do a closing thought. Why don't we do it, JK, where you go first and then cue up Michael again, and then I'll send us home.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, my closing thought, I think, is that these 2 days of racing are going to be outstanding. 10 grade ones, I think, over the festival. I guess maybe that may be a third day involved in that ninth or that 10th grade one, but 10 grade ones. It's exciting. It's been fun to have the Belmont up here. Looking forward to getting back downstate. I was able to go yesterday to do a feature for Fox that is going to air on Saturday. The facility is outstanding. The dirt course is awesome. The turf course is awesome. The synthetic is awesome. They spared no expense on the details that are going to make that place special. But I'm excited to enjoy it up here one more time. Michael, any closing thoughts for you?
It's been a good 3 years up here. Like, I've really enjoyed it, and I think that this is going to be a really excellent week of racing. I think that the highlights for me are that I think we're going to have a nice little French invasion. I think all 3 French horses are going to win their races pretty handily. And I think I think, like I said, Bright Picture I'm very keen on. We didn't go over it earlier. Mandanaba should win, even though Chad has won 8 of the last 9 just at games. I do believe that Mandanaba is 2 or 3 lengths better than Althika, who won this race a few years ago. So that just puts her into she should be the favorite. She should be odds on, and you might get a bit 3 to 1, 3.5 to 1. And Kankura should be a nice value. If you go back and watch the French Oaks last year, had Mandanaba in it, Kankura and Jazora all in it. At a mile, Mandanaba's winning the race. At a mile and an eighth, Kankura is winning the race. At a mile and a quarter and a half, Jazora won the race. And I feel like that race is going to be, the New York is very much going to be Kankura's to lose at a value. So I'm looking forward to the French mopping up. And I'm looking forward to just like a really, really solid week of racing. Hopefully the weather holds out and we don't have any soft turf courses.
It's going to be so much fun. Thank you so much to Michael. Thank you so much to JK. Reminder, we've got the special promo going on for In the Money Plus. We want you to check that out. Take advantage of the free 30 days that'll get you started at Saratoga. InTheMoneyPodcast.com/plus for that. Our friends at Twin Spires, they've got a big Churchill Downs qualifier on Sunday. Check that out. Friends at TwinSpires.com. Navigate over to their tournaments tab. And then the last thing is Horse Player Happy Hour coming back. Speaking of the BCBC, go to horseplayers.com, play for $20. House cut goes to charity. $10,000 BCBC spot added to the pot at no cost to you. For JK, for Michael, I'm Peter Thomas Fornatale. May you win all your photos.